Good morning, Israel, my brothers and sisters, all of Israel, adopted, grafted, heirs, joint heirs. However you come, natural, spiritual, just wanted to say good morning. I hope that all is well. Good morning to you. Good morning, Canson. So I labeled, um, why do Hebrews always look for a way out? So somebody asked me I got an email and they asked me to look at the issue with pork. They saw a video, a car cam that I did, and I was talking about Christmas and Easter and stuff like that. And they said, hey, I agree with you, but have you looked at this particular channel? I'm not going to name the channel. Because you didn't mention anything about the dietary law. How do you feel about the dietary law? And I didn't respond. I did not respond right away. So the person got a little anxious and they said, the dietary law is really talking about how that we can eat certain things because God changed it to parallel with the fact that salvation is for all mankind, all mankind. So what they did was they said, we can eat pork. Well, once I went to the channel, I saw what it was about. What the teaching is that there was a time that we could not eat all meats. There was a time that back in Leviticus, the 11th chapter, we were restricted as to what we could eat. However, when salvation extended beyond Israel, which I agree, the similitude of that is that we can now eat all things because salvation is for all mankind, and therefore we can eat all meats. Let me just say this, and that's why I titled this, why do Hebrews always look for a way out? Stop it. Come on, we got to stop this. We're in this predicament because we refuse to do what the Most High said, namely breaking the covenant. A part of the covenant was the dietary law. Okay, we're not going to receive or have the curses removed until we stop breaking covenant. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now, I know a lot of people. The new thing on YouTube now, the biggest subject is Bill Cosby, and contrast and comparison to the nominee for the Supreme Court Justice, Kavanaugh, and the injustices, and the systemic system that has disparate treatment when it comes to people of the book. Those things are not going to change. Those things have been happening. And I don't want to sound as if I'm settling. I'm just settling with the fact that that's the way it's always going to be. I'm not. So my answer to that is we need to return back to the Most High. When we return back to the Most High, according to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, he will return back to us as individuals. Okay? As far as a nation, Israel, spiritual Israel being a nation, that's not going to happen until the Messiah returns. I'm not talking about Israel as a country that's over there now. No. when the Almighty returns, those of you that understand the word, when he returns, there's going to be one government and one law all over the world, okay? And whoever don't come up 3 times a year and worship and eat, have the dietary law, the Sabbath, the feast days, you find all of that in Zechariah, the 14th chapter. If you want to know what's going to happen during the millennium, read Zechariah, the 14th chapter. It's plain and simple, okay? So we got to quit looking for ways out, okay? So people bringing up, I don't know the guy, Gino somebody. Listen, I'm not going to look at that channel, okay? And here's the situation. The scriptures that people give to make excuses to eat pork, okay? When the Almighty made it clear, it's so plain and it's so simple. Leviticus 11 chapter is as clear as day. Acts the 10th chapter, when Peter had the rooftop dream, it was extremely clear that the Almighty was telling Peter to go out and commune with these brothers whom you normally would not commune with. And if the Almighty wanted Peter to change the law, which Peter can't, because not even the Messiah himself would change the law. He said, I didn't come to change the law, I come to fulfill the law. Okay? So stop, Hebrews, stop, really stop, you guys, stop. We're just like Israel over in Jeremiah 7th and 8th chapter. We really are. We're trying to find a way to not do the covenant. When you read Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, he was sent to Israel, and Israel didn't want to hear it. They just really did not want to hear it. In fact, when you read about them dealing with the Queen of Heaven and making the hot bun cakes and stuff like that, which is all Easter, those guys really, they said, we don't want to hear that stuff. We're no different than Israel today. Israel today is no different than Israel back then. We're trying to find a way out. Okay? Stop it. Just stop it. Okay? Just do what the Most High said. That's all. Okay? There's a reason why these things are coming upon us. And people get excited. People get upset. They get angry. They get surprised when there's disparate treatment with members of our community, and I'm talking now from an African American standpoint. Okay, we surprised, and people keep saying, man, I can't believe we're seeing this in 2018. I can believe it. I'm not surprised at all. I am not surprised. Why? Because Israel in 2018 still has not returned back to God. So what? I'm not surprised that we continue to see this stuff. Nothing's going to change until we change. So I don't know why people get surprised. You can go back. You can go back 10 years ago, and you had what? That was during the O.J. Simpson trial 10, 15 years ago. Okay, everybody was surprised then. Although, that's a bad example. Bad example. It's just, listen, I'm just not surprised. I saw a case the other day where a Anglo male took an Anglo male, yes, Rodney King. That's another one. Absolutely. That was about 20 years ago, mega old school, 20, Yeah, 20, 25 years ago. Okay, this stuff has been happening. It's been happening. I don't know why we get surprised as if, you know, there's something new. There's nothing new. Why? Because Israel has not changed. Israel's not changed. Okay? You got different players on the stage. You got different media anchor people, but it's the same. Nothing has changed. You know what has not changed? That word of God. That word has not changed. You're going, all of these curses are upon you. All of these curses are going to be upon you. So why are people, I saw someone say Shalom who just checked in. I can't see my screen. I just don't understand why people are surprised. And when, as if 20 years ago never happened. Like this is the first time it's ever happened. Come on, Israel, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, people. Wake up. What will change the system is when we change. The day that we come together, is the day that things will change. And until that happens, I hope those of you that are coming into the truth will not be baffled. You won't be discouraged. You won't be saying, what's going on? When is this going to stop? It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop until Israel change as an individual basis, okay? And the Almighty is going to be the one that when He returns, the restoration and all of that is going to be done then. This world is never going to stop being prejudiced on both sides of the fence. There's going to be racists on both sides of the fence. There's going to be discrimination. There's going to be a lot of different things. There's always going to be disparate treatment against the minority until the Almighty returns. Okay? And the reason is because when you're not doing what the scriptures say do, then you're going to have a problem. Okay? That's as simple as that. Remember, there's some things about the scriptures that I want you to take note of. One is, God said, I do not lie. I cannot lie. That's one thing. The Messiah says, I didn't come to change the law, I come to fulfill the law. That's something. Another key scripture, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, then I will heal their land. Okay? Till then, it's not going to happen. Another scripture, whom God is blessed, nobody can curse. At the same time, whom God is cursed, nobody can bless. These are key scriptures that you have to understand when you jump into this walk of life. Okay? What I can tell you is this, is that the scriptures are real. Okay? Deuteronomy the 28th. We're in this predicament. What will get us out of this predicament is Deuteronomy the 4th chapter, when Moses said, when you come in and you teach this to your children and their children's and their children's children. In essence, what he was saying, as Israel goes on, he knew from a prophetic standpoint that Israel was going to become rebellious, and he prophesied. He says, and you will be scattered, but if you in the land where you scattered return back to the Most High. Now he made it individual, because as a nation we can never come together as a nation. But it says, as an individual, if you return back to me, I will return back to you. Now let me say this, okay? There are people out there and there's groups out there that attempt to put us together as a people. It's frivolous. You can't do it. Okay. Louis Farrakhan, good orator, a very good orator, very good speaker. I've have gone and attended some of his speeches. He's a good orator. He addresses social issues from their political platform. And I always listen to what he considers to be a solution, and that is let my people go. And he comes from an angle that he uses the Bible and modernizes it to today's standpoint, as if he's talking to Pharaoh. And as he's talking to Pharaoh, and when he's talking to Pharaoh, how you doing, Mega Old School? How you doing, Tia? I see a couple of you others have chimed in here. But Farrakhan comes from an angle that what he's saying is, hey, the United States is Pharaoh. And if you don't let my people go, these plagues are going to come upon you. Now, it sounds like good rhetoric, okay? And it's, how can I say it? Because I don't want to sound as if I'm talking against anybody. There's really no nicer way to put it. It sounds like good rhetoric, okay? However, the United States cannot let us go. No country can let us go. And we cannot, when you say let us go, where you gonna let us go to? Okay, we got passports. You can go anywhere in this world you want to. Really. I mean, think about it. Nobody is holding us down. You ever really think about that? Did you not know nobody is stopping you from going anywhere in this world that you want to go to? If you want to go to Japan, you can go to Japan and live. Okay? No, really. If you want to go to Africa, you can go to Africa right now and you can go live right now. Nobody's stopping you. In fact, proof of the pudding is, if you want to go to, there's a group that left Chicago and they all went to Africa. Not Africa, they went to Israel. They're living in Israel right now. Didn't nobody stop them from coming. In fact, they had some struggles when they got there, because they went there, they said, we want our territory and this and that. And they got some land. May not be the best of land, but they got some land. Nobody is stopping you from going anywhere you want to right now. If you want to move to Africa, you can move to Africa. You want to move to Nigeria, you can move to Nigeria right now. You can pick up your kids, you can pick up your books, you can ship your car over there, you can sell your property, and you can actually go over there and live. Nobody is stopping you. So when we hear the rhetoric, I want you to let my people go, America, Pharaoh, and you make an analogy, it's rhetoric. We're not reading the Bible, okay? Our land is Israel. Whether you're natural, whether you're spiritual, the occupants of the land is not the Messiah. When he returns, he's going to return and set up his own kingdom. That's what he's going to do. He's going to set up his own kingdom. There's going to be one government, one law. Okay, that's simple as that. And then he says to Israel, I will gather you one by one in the land where you have been scattered. Okay, that's it. So I don't mean to hit the Nation of Islam like that, but I'm just saying, okay, it sounds good. The speeches are good. It sounds good. Getting people together, putting our money together. No, that ain't gonna never happen. Stop. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen because we're under the curses. I mean, really, we're under the curses, so it's not going to happen. You cannot get 5 black people right now, African Americans, to put their money in one account to go buy property, and something's going to go wrong. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just now. I would do it with 5 individuals who have come back to Torah. I do it with them. But just a businessman who ain't into the Most High and who ain't trying to live according to covenant? No, sir. No, ma'am. No, no, no. I wouldn't put $2 in a basket with you. Okay? No way in the world. I would put $2 in a basket to buy a bundle of apples. Because if we did that with 5 unrighteous people, regardless of who they are, I'm telling you, there's going to be an argument of how many apples people get. That's just the way our people are. That's just how we're going to operate, okay? So I just know us. I know how we are. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to get along. Somebody is going to say something crazy and something stupid. I just know us, you know? So that's just how we are, you know, and I know it. I know how we are. It won't even be long. We'll be arguing over, hey, no, how come you got the reddest apples? You know, I mean, really? But if you put 5 righteous people, 5 people who are turning back to Torah because we understand the law, we understand the principles of business, because if you read the Torah, it's in there. It's in there. It tells you how to handle a dispute. It tells you how to sit down, and we're going to operate according to the law. But come on, stop. Come on. I never said that. Let me say this without calling the name. Come on, man. You want everybody to put their money together? Okay? Everybody put their money together. It sounded good. I remember one year, hey, don't you all go Christmas shopping. Take your money and let's put it together. What bank account? Really? What bank account? Whose name is it going to go in? I mean, really? You understand what I'm saying? It'll be lawsuits all over the place. I'm trying to tell you. We are not ready because it's not prophetically according to the outline of what's supposed to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, there's people say, oh, I'm going to follow this guy because I like the way he says he's got a plan. No, you can't have a plan. It may sound good. Let's let all of our people get together. Let's all come together. Let's have some economic power. Let's have some economic strength. Stop. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen until our people turn back to Torah. Okay? It's not going to happen. Somebody says heads, they need to be hit upside the head. The saying that the 12 tribes of Shabazz, when Louis Farrakhan know when the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is the other thing. You know, Farrakhan's not a dumb man. He's not a dumb man. I'm telling you all right now, the man is by no means dumb at all. Okay? He knows who Israel is. His dilemma is, and this is how smart he is, how do I say that I'm Israel? Because I got to say that I'm Israel because he knows that we are. And there's several videos where he says we are Israel. However, he has to say it in such a way because the Muslims or the Nation of Islam are Muslims. They have taken Islamic and they've bought it line, hook, and sinker. So that's their platform. They cannot leave their platform, okay? They cannot leave it. So what Farrakhan does, now he's trying to say that us Islams are Israelites. That's almost like saying this water It's orange juice because there's inside of orange juice, there's water. You understand what I'm saying? No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy it. Hebrews, stop. Just plain stop. Really, just stop. So all of this started because, I read the text message and I went over to the Truth of Something channel and saw this Gino guy. I'm not, like I said, I'm not, y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? And come on. Read the scriptures. Read it. It's so clear. It's so plain. Stop looking for a way out. Don't try to find shortcuts in the contract. Don't try to find loopholes in the contract. This is what this man on this earth does. That's why you got so many attorneys. As soon as you enter into a contract, somebody's trying to find a loophole, trying to find a way out instead of just complying with the agreement. Okay? So stop, Hebrews. Stop. You're not going to get your way out of this. I don't care how you dress it up. I don't care what you do. I don't care. Your situation is never going to change as a nation because it's not according to prophecy. Israel will never become the spiritual nation that it's supposed to be until the Messiah returns and sets it up himself. When he sets it up, then this experiences of disparate treatment will go away. Meg Old School says, when you find out who's your dad, I missed that. I'm going to go back and look at that because that looked like it was funny. Mega Old School. She says, when you find out who's your dad, says you let me know. Right. Okay, I missed that. Yes, that's the teacher of the founder. That's why Brother Malcolm changed his name. I don't know even who Shabazz is. I got you. Yeah, so, I got this email and it was like, hey, I like what you're saying about Christmas. I like what you're saying about Easter. However, they said, can you go and look at this dietary? Because I think that you're wrong on that. I think you're wrong. We can eat everything. It's so simple to just do what the Almighty said do. It really is. I think it's like why don't we do it? It's just so clear and simple just to say, you know what? I'm going to do what the Almighty said do. Okay, I got you. That was a typo. Okay. It's just so simple. And let me just say this, okay, as a word of encouragement. I personally have found that when you return back to the Most High and do Torah and read and meditate in the Word, meditate in the Word day in and day out, remember what he told Joshua, don't turn to the left, don't turn to the right, meditate in the Word, and I'll be with you like I was with Moses. That's what he told Joshua. I say that to say this. Personally, I have found that when I read the Torah every day, and the more I read it, the more I understand it. And the more I understand it, the more I come into the knowledge of what's right and what's wrong. And then once I become obedient and committed to what's right and what's wrong, to control this tabernacle right here, because this is during the Feast of Tabernacles, it's a good time to plug this in. Once I change this tabernacle, and how do you change this tabernacle? The scripture says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Once you change that, you'll be okay. Exactly, Pastor. That's why he's still alive. Let him. I'm going to go back and read that. Tia, you said exactly, Pastor. That's why he's still alive. Let him say that us black people are Israelites. He is the, yeah, I mean, that's back to that comment where I said that the minister Farrakhan is saying that we're Israel. They just don't match. You can't be, you can't keep the Islam faith and say that you're Israel. Can't. Okay? You can't. You can't. You can't be anybody who's not keeping the Torah and say that you're Israel. You just can't. Okay? You just can't do it. You cannot do it. So, very, very, I'm trying to use the word that I can describe his speeches, how they are attractive to the ears of people that have no hope. And the reason why I say that is because people who have no hope are always looking for hope. They have no hope. They're Israel right now is looking for who is going to bring us out of this situation. Martin didn't do it. Jesse didn't do it. Sharpton didn't do it. You can just keep going on and on. Obama didn't do it. Nobody can bring you out of this but you. Nobody. The only person that can get us out of this is us as an individual. Whether you, no matter what creed, no matter what nationality, no matter who you are, nobody can get you out of this but you. When you return back to the Most High and quit trying to look for a way out, okay? Quit trying to look for a way out. Yes, somebody put down Garvey. Garvey couldn't do it. Nobody can do it. Why? It doesn't line up with the word. It doesn't line up with the word. It doesn't, okay? It just does not line up with the word. Nobody. There's not, the only Redeemer is the Messiah. Nobody. And he's only going to redeem those that are in him. If you're not in him, then you're not going to be redeemed. Okay? Yes, Megan said, look for a way in. Yes, look for a way in. Don't look for a way out. Look for a way in. I like you. Thank you. Look for a way in. The way in is the Torah. Get into it. Read it. Quit fighting the feast days. Somebody asked me, and I'm going to say this because somebody's going to look at this video and they're going to type, well, you're under the law. Why are you keeping those feast days? Let me ask you something. If you're one of those people that's going to read this, and I'm making this comment for those that will come across this later. Why do you keep Christmas? Why do you keep Christmas? It's not in the scriptures. Why do you do it? That's what I want to know. Where? Tell me where it came from. And when somebody asks me, why are you keeping the Sabbath? I want to know my answer to you. And this is to all of us that know the truth. We need to start asking people, why do you go to church on Sunday? Was the Sabbath changed? Can you show that to me? Why Sunday? Why not Monday? Why not Tuesday? Why did you pick that day? Okay? Start putting people back in check. Remember, Jesus would answer a question with a question. He rarely answered a question head on. He answered a question with a question. Okay? So remember over there in the book of Matthew, and he says, why do your disciples do this and why do your disciples do that? How come they don't wash their hands? Why do they, when they eat, how come they disrespect the elders? He didn't give them an answer. What he says, let me ask you something. Why do you go against your fathers? Why do you go against the law? So when you all ask these questions, I'm going to start, not those of you that know the truth, but when you come across people to ask, why are you going back to the Sabbath? Ask them, well, when you say, why do I go back to the Sabbath? Why do you do Sunday? And when they say, why do you keep the feast days and all of that? You're going back. Ask them, why do you keep Christmas? Why do you keep Easter? Where did you get it from? Why did you change the day of worship from the seventh day to the first day? I mean, really, those are good questions that we should be requiring of people when they ask us questions. You know, we need to put it back onto them. You know, why do you eat pork? What do you mean, why do I not eat pork? Why do you eat pork? That's what I want to know. Why do you do it? So we need to start putting this stuff back on people when they try to flip it on us. Flip the script back on them. Because we don't need an answer. We know what the scripture says. Show me why you change what you're doing. Justify. And if they say, well, you know, Jesus rose on the Sunday, because let me tell you, this is no joke, no joke, no joke, okay? I happened to hear a friend of mine, and you know, when you get friends, you work with them, right? You work with them. But he's a he's a Christian, and what he said was, we don't. The Sabbath was changed because Jesus rose on a Sunday, and because he rose on the Sunday, the Sabbath was changed. It used to be the seventh day, but it was changed from the seventh day to the first day when Jesus rose on a Sunday. And he said it with such a surety and confidence. I mean, it was like a matter of fact. It was like he said it with such a confidence that one who did not know the scripture will walk away and say, oh, okay. Oh, okay, now I understand. So I asked him, I said, hey, what scripture is that? Scripture for what? That Jesus changed the Sabbath from the seventh day to the first day because he rose on a Sunday. And he said, yeah, because when Jesus rose on the Sunday, he's now the Lord of the Sabbath because he changed the day, because we don't have to do that anymore. And I said, time out, bruh. Can you give me a scripture that number one says that he resurrected on a Sunday? Because I can show you where he resurrected on the seventh day. I can show you. I can show you book, chapter, and verse where he rose on the Sabbath. That's number one. And I can show you book, chapter, and verse where he did not rise on the first day of the week. So that's number two. So therefore, your whole theory just went out the window. So now, and I showed him, when you go to Matthew, Mark, and Luke, look at the last chapter of all three of those books and look at verse 6. Read verse 1, then read verse 6. And all of those books, it's always the last chapter of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Read the first verse of the last chapter, and or you can just read verses 1 through 6. You'll get it. But in verse 6 and every last one of those books, the angels spoke to Mary and says, he is not here. He has risen. The initial part tells you what time she got there. So if you get there, like now it's 8:43. If I pulled up, like I'm pulling up to my house, and I go ring the doorbell, okay? And, or I'm going to somebody else's house, and I ring the doorbell, and they're not home, I cannot get and say, hey, man, yeah, they left at 8:45. Oh, did they? Yeah, I just got to this house and it's 8:45 and they just left. No, they're not home. You don't know what time they left. So now you got to go to other books and other verses to find out what time did Jesus rise. So you got to go to Daniel. He was placed in the grave in the midst of the week, which is 9:27. Daniel 9:27 tells you that. He would be cut off in the middle of the week. The middle number of 7 is 4, which is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we know that Joseph of Arimathea put him in the grave before the Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread started. He was placed there on right on the 14th day of the month. He was killed on the 9th hour of the day. He died. He gave up the ghost. The 9th hour of the day is 3 o'clock. Joseph of Arimathea immediately put him in the grave because he wanted him to be in the grave before the Feast of Unleavened Bread started, because it was a high day. The high day is a Sabbath that is not a regular 7-day Sabbath. And the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is a Sabbath. And so he put him in the grave before the sun went down. 72 hours later is on the Sabbath. He rose before the sun went down. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So when I showed it to the brother, he goes, wow, I gotta look at that. And he goes like this, I gotta look at that. So I said, you know, I'm not gonna say his name. I said, you know, one thing, and he's a pastor. I said, one thing, brother pastor, is when you go to seminary school, you're told something, but you're not shown in the scriptures what you're told. So therefore, you will come in your pulpit and you will say things that you were told, and you don't show a scripture for it. You know the story. We all know that Jesus resurrected. We all know that Mary went to the grave and he wasn't there. We know that. We know it because we've been told that. And in some cases, we have briefly read it and brushed over without reading detail and looking. We're just reading, okay? And so when we do that, what happens is we don't really read to seek understanding, okay? We just do it. Yes, somebody got, Illuminati runs seminary school. Yeah, the published press, everything. So the issue is, the scripture says, in all of your getting, get some understanding. Study to show your self-approval. Okay? You have to. And this is why when I listen to Farrakhan, because I'm strong enough to listen to him, because I'm listening to him to look at the angle in which he's giving people hope. And I'm looking at the individuals that are seeking hope and how you can craft through being very crafty, make yourself a modern day Moses. Okay? So you make yourself a modern day Moses, you make the United States a modern day Egypt, and let my people go, because if you don't, these plagues are going to come upon you. And when these plagues start to happen, you associate the plagues with now God's whipping you because you won't let his people go. That's very good. That's very crafty. That's very, very crafty. It really is. I tell you, it's one of the best masterpieces of deception. I'm going to say it. It's one of the best masterpieces of deception that I have ever seen. It's worse than being lied to in theology. It really is. You understand what I'm saying? I expect people outside of Israel to do what they're doing. But when you got somebody that's supposed to know who they are and turn around and use the word in a crafty way, it's just outright deception. It's almost like, and you all can appreciate this. It's almost like a modern day Harriet Tubman, right? Who actually led people through the underground to get you to freedom. And this individual is like, I am the leader. I am the answer. I'm going to lead you to freedom. But they really lead you right back into captivity. Right back into captivity. Because when you're not doing Torah, you're being led right back into captivity. And what's worse is, you can expect somebody outside the camp to do that. But when you got somebody inside the camp that does that, Israel, stop looking for a way out. Just stop it. Look for a way in. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Look for a way in. Return back to Torah. The Bible has not changed. The solution is right before our eyes. The solution is right there. We just don't do it. He's letting you know, here's your trap. Here's your calamity. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how it's going to happen. The scriptures is right there telling you. It hasn't changed. If you want to know who the people of the book, just look at the curses. Follow them. The Bible does not lie to you. The scriptures does not lie to you. The prophets are not lying to you. They simply tell you, here's what's going to happen to you. Here's how to get out. Just that simple. Just that simple. But we got people giving false hopes. And they preying on victims who don't read the scriptures. Until you all start reading the scriptures, you're going to always be a victim of having false hope. You're going to always be a victim. There's always going to be a Jesse. There's always going to be a Martin. There's always going to be a Farrakhan. There's always going to be a Garvey that's going to pop up on this scene. I'm taking you way back. There's always going to be a Frederick Douglass. None of these individuals are going to get you out of that because it don't fit the scriptures. He's not sending a Moses. There is no modern day Moses. There is no modern day Joshua. The Messiah himself is going to return and gather you. That's it. And it's only going to gather those that return back to Torah. Okay? Rodney Frederick says, so many of us look for a way out because it goes against what we've learned over a lifetime. Old dogs learn new tricks. Right. It's just that simple. It's really that simple. You know, I get frustrated, but I still continue to teach and show. I really do, because that's my calling. Okay, that's my calling. And the way, if I come across um, too rough, I apologize for that, because I try to come across in a platform, and because my channel has multiple platforms. Somebody sent me a message and they said we missed the car cams. So I started to do them again, but um, every Sabbath I come live from a different platform where we got the TVs, the lights, and we got the technical staff who's working all of that. So I come from that platform. I got a little shirt and tie and suit on. I come from that platform, but outside of that platform, I got to come this way. It's more of a conversation. It's more personable, is what I try to be. Okay, I try to be more personable, but sometimes when you become more personable, um, it's not as savvy. You know what I mean? It's just not as it comes across a little hoodish. I don't know. It just, because it starts to come more from here, whereas my messages are prepared because I'm coming from the word. Okay. Um, so Tia says, yes, we like the car cams. Yeah, and I got a couple different emails that tell me that, and I'm gonna start back to doing them. But when I do it, I come raw. I come hard. I really come hard, and I address things, and I may not be politically correct when I say them. Okay, and I just have to. So that's why I just have to. I gotta call Farrakhan out. I have to. I like the brother. I like him. I like the way he has hope. Okay? But the man is too smart to know, because when you're reading the Bible and you're going to quote scriptures more than you quote the Quran, that means you know the book. And you're not an individual who is not intelligent or has the skill to be skillfully intelligent in what you're reading. You got enough sense to know that we're Israel, but you also got enough sense to know you can't walk into the Nation of Islam and say, guess what? We're glad what we've learned from whoever the guy is, Muhammad, that you give homage to and respect to. But guess what? We're really Israelites. So therefore, we're going to have to start keeping Torah. We're going to start keeping Sabbath, feast days. We're not going to be meeting on Ramadan anymore, because that's Islamic. We're Israelites. And this is the word that he gave to Israel. You're not going to do that. Why are you not going to do that? Because you're no different from the mega Christian church pastor who knows the truth but don't want to walk in to 15,000, 20,000 people and say, guess what? We got to start keeping the Sabbath. It's too risky. Too risky. See, I knew I wasn't going to be politically correct. So somebody going to say, wow, you just equated Farrakhan to a mega church pastor. Yes. Yes, I did. He knows the truth. He's no different from the mega pastor who knows the truth. And don't think they don't know the truth. They know the truth. It's business. It's economics. You cannot walk in and do that. You cannot do that. No, it's not that Farrakhan's going to be dead. There's somebody standing behind him, and they listening right in his own camp. They waiting for him to mess up. Go and come on in there and keep Hebrewanizing us. Okay? Keep doing that. Okay? So that's why Farrakhan, he dances. He dances. He knows the truth. He don't want to be in trouble with the Most High. He's got all those people, and he says, we're Israel. And he mentions the Bible. He mentions scriptures. You know, we're the real Israelites. Nah, brother, you can't dance. You're no different than a first-day pastor telling his people that we're Israel, and you still keeping Sunday, Christmas, and Easter. I said it. I told y'all that's why I don't like doing car cams, because it'll start to come out. It'll start to come out. I know I gotta do it, but I'm gonna tell you, it comes out. It comes out, okay? And I'm trying not to do that, okay? Because I don't, I can't say I don't want to be attacked. Because, when I come, when you got the Bible behind you, man, you feel so good. I would tell you, Farrakhan, you wrong. You just wrong. I would love to sit beside him across from the table, whether we on TV, our own channel, we just have a discussion. Brother, stop doing that. Quit telling people we're Israel. Quit taking on the title and you holding on to Islamic teaching. Okay? You cannot do that. You're no different from the other people that you talk about. You're no different. It's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. Either you got 1 foot in, all feet in. You cannot have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's the same thing with some of these pastors who are teaching that we're Israel, because it's a fad now. Being Israel and learning that you're the people of the book, it's a fad now. Okay? Okay, it's a fad now. So some people want to do it now. That's why I like Stephen Darby. He's passed away. He's gone. I like his teachings. And I believe that eventually maybe the Almighty may have opened up his eyes to see that the Sabbath and the feast days are right. But it's a fad to teach that we're Israel. But you cannot teach the fad without teaching the truth. It's clingy now. All the millennials are leaving the Christian church. All of them. They leaving because they're waking up. They're tired of the offerings. They're tired of the singing. They're tired of the running and the shouting and learning nothing. The millennials are saying, we have had enough. We're not doing this no more. I'm moving so I can get the sun out of my eyes. So the millennials are saying, hey, I'm tired of this. I don't even want to be here no more. So now you don't know what to do about it, right? You have no idea how to handle the growth that is impacting the church. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. So what there's a group of pastors out there that have gotten together and they said we need to deal with this Hebrew Israelite issue. You can't deal with the Hebrew Israelite issue. And I'm not saying, because number one, you don't realize that there is a group that is not like the group that's on the corner that is angry. There is a well-knowledge group like myself and others, and there's a lot of us, may not be on YouTube, but there's a lot of us who understand the truth and can teach the truth, who are not out there on the street corner angry. So your issue is you have to deal with the fact that your children are coming back. Well, let me give you the analogy of that, why that's the case. Because if you want to bring the analogy of the children of Israel in Egypt, what God is doing is he's letting everybody of a certain age go. You dead, you gone. But I'm saving your children in the wilderness. And I'm going to take them into the promised land. And you don't know what to do about it because you are spiritually being cut off. You are spiritually dying and your children are waking up because at a certain age, I believe it was 20 or 21 and above, God just let you go. But your children got it. And they were the ones that crossed over. And that's what's happening. And you don't know what to do about it. You don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to handle the money loss, the financial loss. You got a dilemma. You have a crisis that you don't know how to deal with. So the way that you deal with it, let's start teaching that we're Israel. Let's make it a black history that we just certainly woke up to. And we can still teach Sunday, Christmas, and Easter. So let's jump on that bandwagon. But that's dangerous. That's a very dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't take that chance if I was you. I would not step in one foot without bringing the other foot in. That's very dangerous. I wouldn't do that. That's a financial power move to save yourself. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. So what you have to do is either you're in or either you're out. So I don't know why Hebrews are always looking for a way out. Stop it. Stop looking for a way out. Just do it. Just do it. I mean, really, just do it. Even if you don't understand the feast days to this fullest, just do them. Even though, wow, you know what? I've been eating pork and wow, I just read this and because I'm reading Torah again and wow, I'm just going to stop eating it. You know, I mean, why take the chance? Just stop it. There's no legalism. Somebody wrote a message, but you're into legalism. Really? I'm into legalism because I keep the feast days? Again, why do you keep Christmas? That's all I want to know. Why do you keep Christmas? It's not his birthday. It's not written anywhere in the Bible. In fact, do the research. Just look up the origin of Christmas. The internet is beautiful. Just look up the origin of Christmas. Just type it in Google, origin of Christmas, and get your answer. And after you get your answer, tell me why you do it. You see, the Almighty's doing something. He's doing something right now. I'm going to tell you what he's doing. There was a time people were scared of technology because of ignorance. Technology like the internet and phones and all of that was considered to be the mark of the beast. It's not. When you really study, you'll understand what the mark of the beast is. And that's I got a lesson on this channel. Scroll down and look for it when you get an opportunity. It's called the mark of the beast. And it tells you what the mark of the beast is. The mark of the beast is the mark of the beast. But here's what I'm saying. These cell phones that were created because you went over into Africa and you wiped people out and took the Coltrane, I believe that's what they call it, Coltrane of the mineral, that all cell phones and computers and laptops have to work off of. You went over there and you maliciously, strategically came into the land, created chaos. You're wiping people out through genocide, and you took this mineral and you made a cell phone out of it. Because without it, it's only in Africa, 70% of it is in Africa. So you need Africa, so you go get it, right? But now look at what the Almighty's doing. The very technology that you use, that you stole and maliciously and politically took, you're using that to make a cell phone. I've been watching the news, and there are some good channels out here. I think one is called The Advise TV, and I'm going to reach out to that brother because he does some good stuff, Brother Philip. The Advise TV network. But he always brings up where something is captured on cell phone. Okay? Where he's catching somebody who's said something improper out of their mouth. I've been watching, I saw a couple Roland Martin clips. Coltan, yes. Thank you, Tia. There's a couple of new clips out there that have made headlines where there have been some white supremacists who were captured doing certain things, who were business owners, and there's several people who were holding high positions. They got fired. Yes, the Advise media show with Phil Scott. Yes, I watch him. I'm a subscriber to that channel because the information that he brings is about things that have been captured and stuff like that. So the Almighty has used this tool that I'm talking to you on. That you took, right? He's using that as a weapon against you. Okay? That's what he's done. That's what he's done. So now people are being caught. People are being captured. So and it's a headway. And now you got mainstream America fighting mainstream America. I was someplace earlier, and I've got a shirt on that says "Just Do It." Now I've had this shirt for a long time, and it hit me this morning when I got out of my car, and I went to a couple of different places. People that I passed kind of looked at my shirt and went, kind of gave me a little strange look. And I looked at myself and I said, as a man, is my pants unzipped or something? So I'm checking, everything's good. I'm like, why are people looking at me funny? And I couldn't figure out what it is. Well, what it was, my shirt says, "Just Do It." Nike. Wow. Oh, that's what it is. So they think I'm making a political statement. I'm not making a political statement. You understand? I'm not getting involved with you know what I'm saying? Come on. This thing, Kaepernick and what's going on with him, this ain't the first time. Look at the Olympics back in the 60s when those guys stood up and put up the Black Power sign. Come on, man. This ain't nothing new. This thing been happening. He's not the first athlete that has used the athletic platform as a political statement. Come on. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So now, what's amazing is Ford jumped on, and that's America's truck. I mean, that's America's truck. Okay? And a lot of people with Confederate flags got those Confederate flags in the back of a Ford truck. You notice ain't nobody been burning Ford trucks. Okay? But I wore the shirt because I've been owning it. I've been owning this shirt. I'm not trying to make a political statement that I'm in support of this, I'm in support of that. I'm not. I've been having Nike. That's all I have is Nike. I like the tennis shoes. I like the Snickers. You understand? They feel comfortable. I like it. I can find more things to match it when I decide to be in an athletic state of mind getting out of a suit. You know what I mean? So it's not that I'm, so I realize people look at me, oh, yeah, he's one of those brothers that is making a political statement. No. So I just decided I'm going to have to find another t-shirt to make a political, religious statement. I'm going to have to put something together to just make a political. So people will come up and not look at me crazy and maybe ask, hey, what does that mean? Maybe I ought to get a t-shirt that says "Straight Out of Hebrew." I don't know. Just find something so that people can really ask, what does that mean? Oh, okay, well, this is what this means, and share it with them. and use it as another platform to take the truth. But really, um, somebody says they really get scared then. Yeah, and I don't want to make people scared. I mean, I don't want white people to look at me and say, "Oh, he's one of those guys. Look out for him." Because what I noticed, there was because listen, I don't see color the way people see color. I'm looking for children of the Most High. Okay, that's me. That's number one. Everybody knows me. Know that's how I am. I don't roll with because you whipped me and you put me into slavery. I don't roll with that. That's not Bible. But what happened was when I saw this white gentleman and his wife or his girlfriend or whatever she was, when they passed me, they squeezed hands, right? Which is what I noticed. That was the first thing I noticed, was that he squeezed her hand, and then she looked at him, he looked at my shirt, and then he was alerting her to look at what he was looking at. So I knew what that was about. Me and my wife do that. If I want her to see something and we out in public, I'll squeeze her hand or tap her leg, and she'll look at me, and then she'll look at the direction I'm looking at. Okay? So when I realized, I'm like, he's looking down. I'm like, is my pants unzipped? Why would he be telling this? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I looked and it just said, just do it. Can y'all see that? So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just wearing a shirt. I just got up this morning, put on a shirt. I just went in the drawer. Now, but that's what America has come to. Now, I will say this. With all of this happening, and with more things becoming crucial and evident, I can't say things are heating up, because they heated up in the 60s. I can't even say that. What I can say is we see more signs of the Bible unfolding before our eyes and that we've ever seen. So the Bible is unfolding itself. So the Messiah is soon to come. When you look at the political atmosphere globally, and not just in the United States, but globally, when you look at what's happening, he is soon to come, okay? So there's certain things we have to look out for, okay? We have to look out for when the abomination of the desolation stands in the holy place and operates. So when I see the Romish government buying land in Israel, that's for a purpose, okay? And when I see the Romish, when y'all know what I mean by the Romish government, the Catholics are buying land in Israel, and they're not just buying that land, they're structuring, they're building structures there. When you see that happening, that means operations are going to take place from there. And the scripture says, when you see the abomination of the desolation. And what is the abomination of the desolation? When you desecrate the word of the Most High, and you stand in the position of the Most High, because nobody can stand in that position. But when you operate as if you are the position of God, and when you do that, you can do that. I mean, nobody's going to stop you from doing that. You're not the first person that says or whatever. But when you do that as a world power recognized entity inside of the Holy Land, then you have fulfilled the book of Daniel. And when you fulfill the book of Daniel, the Bible continues to unfold, and we, as the children of the Most High, need to be prepared for what is to come. We have to be prepared for the tribulation. You're going to make it through the tribulation if you have on the armor of God. And I'm not talking about an M16. I'm not talking about a tank. I'm not talking about buying a house and putting all of this food in it and bunkers and all like that. That's nonsense. The Most High said, you will see 1,000 fall on the right and 10,000 on the left, but not one hair on your head will be touched. You'll see the arrows fly over your head, but not one thing will touch you. Why? Because the Almighty will protect you, because you will dwell in the secret place of the Most High God. You understand what I'm saying? So once you know this, you don't live in fear. You understand? I'm not going to go. I remember. See, this is a problem with car cams. You go on and on because I'm retired. Here's what people did back in the 70s, the 80s, and even before then. Back in the 60s, I'm talking about in the United States. I was a kid in the late 60s, you know. So let me say this. What they did, okay, people were buying bunkers and building houses underground and storing it up with these canned goods that have since expired. You can't even eat them because they've expired. But there have been people that have actually built bunkers waiting for it to happen, the doomsday, right? And they're going, and they got all of this stuff set up. There are people that are arming themselves. They're buying weapons. Weapons for what? You know? Because it's getting ready to kick off. I've been hearing that when I was in 10th grade. Okay? It's going to kick off, man. You got to get ready. Really? Read the Bible, people. Read the scriptures. Read it. The Bible is unfolding before your very own eyes. The main thing is Hebrews, Israelites, natural, spiritual, heirs, joint heirs, quit looking for a way out. Just stop looking for a way out. Return back. The Almighty said, you return back to me, and I will return back to you. That's just that simple. You got to return back to him. And then he's going to prove you. He's going to test you. I'm going to let you know the modus operandi of God is that once you return back to him, he's going to try you. How do I know that? When the children of Israel were in the wilderness and he killed off all of that older group, the new group, he left 5 nations to prove Israel whether they would serve him or not. Read that in the book of Judges, the 3rd chapter. You can read that. He left back 5 nations of the Philistines to test Israel whether or not they would serve him or not. And they didn't. They didn't. So you see what the Almighty's not going to do? He's not going to let you start reading the Torah, keeping the Sabbath, keeping the feast days, and then all of a sudden, you're going to get blessings and doors open up, and he's just going to pour you out blessings. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Because let me tell you why. He needs to know that it's coming from here. And it's not a tit for a tat. Okay? Because let me tell you what people would do. Let me tell you what Israel would do. Let me just tell you what people in general would do. If people felt like, oh, if you read the Bible and if you go to church on the Sabbath, then you can win that lottery ticket. You understand what I'm saying? It don't work that way. It just does not work that way. Okay? So you have to be careful. Okay? You got to be very careful. And the Almighty is going to protect the integrity of his covenant. So he proved Israel. So he said, listen, I'm going to take you all. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to be your God, and we're going to do this. We're going to enter into this covenant agreement. But I'm leaving back 5 nations, and I'm going to see if you all are going to do what I asked you to do. That's all. That's what he's going to say. I'm going to see if he's going to do what you all asked me to do. And if they don't. Roderick got down. Let me see what you said. You said, hey, God ain't no hustle. Yes. Yeah. I think you meant to say God ain't no hustle. And you know what? This is what people would do. People will make God a hustle. You know what? Thank you, Roderick. Rodney Frederick. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. God ain't no hustle. This is why God has to test you. This is why God has to test you. Because God has become a hustle today. It's a hustle. And the hustle is so good. The hustle is so good. When pastors know the truth, the hustle is so good, they won't have anybody to hustle. Because the moment you walk in there and say, listen, I just studied something and we got a problem. I just understood that we should have been here yesterday. Let a pastor go in there on a Sunday morning and say that. There's going to be this little eager beaver youth pastor that's going to say, he lost his mind. He got to go. He's trying to be one of those Hebrew people. He's trying to be one of them Sabbath keepers. This ain't our faith. Let him go someplace else and start a church. That's what that little eager youth pastor is going to do the moment a pastor walks inside of his mega church congregation and walk in there and say and tell the truth. I'm telling you, that's what they're afraid of. Because they don't want to lose it. They got salary tied up into it. They got building fund tied into it, businesses tied into it. It's a lot to go in there and put on the line. It really is, people. And I want y'all to understand the dilemma of the mega church pastor, okay? I want you to understand their dilemma. They got a mega church they just built. They've got a business next to it. They've got a salary with a mortgage and a car note attached to it. And right now, it's working because they're telling people what they want to hear. And what they want to hear is, tell me good things. You know, like over in Jeremiah, Israel said, don't tell us that. Tell us good things. In other words, tell us what we want to hear. Tell us things that are pleasing to our ears. We don't want to hear that other stuff, but tell us things that we want to hear. So that is what brings in the money. That is what keeps people at the table. People equate. Let me bring us to a business standpoint. You have your average daily transaction you got your average daily transaction plus the number of transactions that equates to your gross product, to your gross sales. So let me break that again. Let me say that. You got your average daily transaction plus the number of daily transactions equals your annual finances. So what do I mean by that? The average church member is your average daily transaction. Your average church member is going to give $5. Your average daily transaction is how many members comes in there on a Sunday morning. Let's say 10,000. So you got your average daily transaction, which is $5, and your average daily transactions, how many transactions do you have? So when you take up offering, I'm bringing it to a business standpoint, that is the amount of sales, so to speak. So when you pass down that offering tray and you got a building that sits 10,000 people and the average person gives $5, when you multiply 5 times $10, you already have projected what you're going to take up that Sunday. And if I'm not mistaken, it's $50,000. Then you're going to multiply that $50,000 times 4. That's $200,000. Then you're going to take that 200 and you're going to multiply that times 13. Why 13? Because December is a big month. Everybody wants to come to church, right? So that's a double month. So your sales double. So you're going to multiply that times 13. Somebody said $5. Yeah, I was trying to show you, and you're right. It's probably $10. It's probably 10. So basically, you're looking at $2.5 million a year. $2.5 million a year. And if your mortgage is only $500,000 a year, because that's high. When you got a mortgage that's $500,000 a year, some of these churches are paying $20,000 a year mortgage, or $20,000 a month mortgages. So $20,000 a month times 12 is 240. Some of them, they could be paying extra. So it really, out of $2.5 million, your mortgage is, let's say you paying $500,000 a year because you want to pay it off. You want one of these rapid things, right? So what are you doing with the other $2 million?